Welcome to the This Week in Golf podcast. And we're a week before the Masters, so we're going to get into golf. We're going to talk about the women's Masters and the state of the PGA Tour and LIV. So here we go. Let's get it started. And let's start off, first of all, with this event. It's actually the women's amateur, and it's at Augusta. They don't call it the women's Masters, but that's what it is. And the format is as follows. They play two events in Augusta, and then so that was Wednesday and Thursday. Today is Friday. They play a practice round at Augusta, and then tomorrow they play the final at Augusta. So that'll be Saturday. So make sure to tune in and watch it because it's amazing. And there's only about 30 players. So they had a cut. After 2 days, they have a cut. And then those final, I think it's about 30 women, have made the cut and will play at Augusta tomorrow. Fabulous. It's always a great event. I love this event because it's the week before the Masters. You get to turn it on. You get to watch someone play the course. It's exciting just to see that golf course and also to see the young amateur players play it and do so well. So I'm looking forward to that. My only thought on it is I wish they would have expanded out to an LPGA Tour Masters as well. I think that would do a lot of good for the game of golf from the women's side if they played a Masters at Augusta. And it would be awesome. They could do this amateur event and then maybe the following week do the LPGA Masters and then do the PGA Tour Masters. So that's my thought on the warm up to the Masters. And then let's just talk about kind of the state of golf overall and where we are heading into Masters Week, kind of the first major of the year where we get a true sense of where the game is at. And quite honestly, it's not good. But having said that, we'll see what happens at the Masters. This week, the PGA Tour is in, I believe, San Antonio, the Valero Texas Open. And so kind of the final event, warm-up event for the PGA Tour guys. And then LIV Golf is in Miami. They're at Doral playing an event there. And so, it's just exciting to have this major event coming up where both organizations are going to get together and finally play. Get together. I think there's about 20 guys from LIV who are going, no, it's less than that. It's probably like 14 or 15 are going to be playing at the Masters next week. So kind of a state of the game, we'll see all the press conferences before. Defending champ is John Rahm. So, obviously he went over to LIV. So we'll see his event. Tiger will talk. Fred Ridley, the chairman of the Masters, will talk. Maybe we'll get some sort of announcement from LIV and the PGA Tour of where this whole thing is heading. But, in all honesty, watching golf these days is getting tough. It's very hard to watch golf. The PGA Tour has now two types of events. They have the elevated event, which is kind of the full field. And then they have just whatever we're calling the non-elevated events. And those fields aren't great. This year at Torrey Pines, the local tournament that I get to go to in San Diego, it was not an elevated event. So we didn't have a great field of golfers. And, it is a good opportunity for those lesser ranked golfers to get to play in a PGA Tour event and possibly win it. If you win a PGA Tour event, you get to play in all the majors that following year or that same year. You get a lot of money. So that's good in that way, but it's kind of bad for the fans because, it's tough to watch the Valero Texas Open this week where, you might not know all the guys in golf. Now, I follow golf for a living. So, even I don't know half of these players. So, people are making some names for themselves, sure. But at the same time, we want the fields. We want the best field. And even when the PGA Tour has all their elevated event and best guys there, there's still 50 guys from LIV that aren't there. So, so that's what's hard about it. It's hard to watch golf these days. And then LIV hasn't played an event in like 3 weeks or something like that. And even when they play, you don't know where to watch it. Well, you can watch it online, obviously. That's not a fair statement. But, it's becoming more and more difficult to watch. Now, let's talk about kind of, the PGA Tour and then LIV and kind of the products themselves. So I think from the PGA Tour's perspective, not their perspective, from my view of the PGA Tour, is that it's a better format overall. It's 4 rounds, Thursday and Friday. There's a cut, and then the finals on Saturday and Sunday. And everybody starts on the first hole on Saturday and Sunday. And so there's more pressure. There's that cut, number one. There's a lot of pressure to make the cut and to try to make some money for yourself and your caddy and your team and your family that week. And then, so because if you don't make the cut, no money. And then the second part of that is, so there's a lot of pressure to make the cut. And then once you've made the cut, if you're kind of in one of the final groups on Saturday, there's a lot of pressure. And on Sunday, even more so coming down the stretch because everybody's finishing in front of you. So you're finishing at different times. Now, LIV, in my opinion, is just a better product overall. And the reason it's a better product is, it's just a better product for the fans. It starts on a shotgun. It's only 3 days. It starts at the same time. So if you're watching it, even if you're watching it on TV, it's a better experience because it's just shot after shot after shot. If there's not a good story between, whoever's leading in second place or the challenger down the stretch, they can work this whole team element into it. So from that perspective, it's just more exciting. It's faster paced. And so that's why I think it's a better product. The other thing is they're more innovative. They're showing, and again, who knows if people like this or if this stuff will stick around, but putting a microphone in the cup when a putt goes in, it adds an element in that if you're watching a PGA Tour event, you're passively watching, you're on your phone, but you're kind of watching the event, and then you hear the putt go into the hole. It's like, it snaps you out of it, and you look up and you'll see the replay. The other thing they're doing is they're showing the line of the break of the putt. I'm not sure if I like that or not yet, but it is there. And there's other things that they do as well, like their course flyovers. They use a drone, but it's so crappy. Like they fly super fast down the fairway and low. It's like, what's the point of the drone? To fly high so I can see the hole. And why are you flying so fast? Like, slow it down. I don't know. Maybe the kids like it. Another exciting thing about LIV that making it a better product overall, and they just signed this deal with AEG, which is one of the big music. I guess they're kind of they own venues, artists play at the venue. Have you ever noticed if you look at a certain band you like, that the venues they play? So you'll say you live where I live in San Diego, and you want to go see a concert, and it's at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater, which is not a great place to go. It's out in the sticks. But anyways, if I want to go see, we'll just say Revolution. If I want to go see Revolution, that's where they're going to play at. And then if I look at where else Revolution is going to play at, they play in Mountain View at the Shoreline Amphitheater. They play up in Concord at the Concord Pavilion. So AEG owns these venues, right? And so now they own venues, they own the ticketing, they own the billboards, the marketing for everything. So AEG is now going to be doing the concerts at LIV events. Oh, and they have relationships with the artists. So if you're an AEG artist and you're playing at certain venues and you're on a tour, now you're going to possibly be at a LIV event. And so it'll probably just be, bigger concerts with better acts. Although the acts they're getting are quite good. So no shade on that. Again, why LIV's a better product, and where and look, all these things I'm saying is areas of improvement for the PGA Tour to work through, right? LIV has a better app. If you go on their mobile app, they have a far superior app. They do a way better job at marketing, particularly with the teams. So this week, they're playing in Miami. Dustin Johnson's team, the Four Aces, they came out with all this imagery and merchandise related to the event, and it's kind of like Miami Vice. So it's got that Miami Vice kind of logo and font, but instead of saying Miami Vice, it says Miami Aces. And so they're able to do that. And then kind of this final element, which is going to be the differentiator, in my opinion, as far as golf and growing the product, and where the PGA is lacking, is this name, image, and likeness. So we see this in the college game, not college, but college sports in general, where like a player like Shador Sanders, well, Shiloh too, who play football for the Colorado Buffaloes, they make more money than, they make like $3 or $4 million a year just on commercials, doing content online on YouTube. So the thing about the PGA Tour, they don't allow players to have name, image, and likeness. If you play on the tour, you're kind of a tour player. Whereas now, LIV guys can do whatever they want. And, you know, like Bryson DeChambeau has a YouTube channel, and he had a whole thing. I saw it on Twitter about how he was talking about, you know, what he hopes to accomplish with the YouTube channel. They all say growing the game. Okay, whatever. But it's basically content that's fun, collaborating with YouTube content creators to basically become a celebrity on YouTube in addition to on the golf course. So it's controlling your own name, image, and likeness and growing your own personal brand. And the PGA can't do that. Or I don't know that they can't. But here's the other thing about the PGA Tour. Players is these guys are so worried about making the cut because they don't get paid if they don't make the cut. So they don't really have probably a lot of time to be creating a YouTube channel and content around a YouTube channel. So the LIV guys, they have guaranteed money. So yeah, they can hire a team of social media and film and editors and do all this stuff. So that's that. But yeah, this overall theme about golf becoming harder to watch, and we're suffering. The fans are suffering the most in this whole LIV versus PGA and where does it go, and no one seems in a rush to make a deal, and they better get in a rush to make a deal. This week, Rory, Phil, DeChambeau, you're going to see more of it at the Masters. People are talking about the fractured game. And look, you can point blame, oh, those guys went over and fractured the game. Or you could say the PGA Tour didn't offer them an opportunity, so this startup came along and they went over there. Who cares? Okay, who cares? The game is fractured and it needs to come together. And, you know, we already talked about it's becoming harder to watch. You know, these fields on the PGA Tour, LIV being online. There's the viewership on PGA Tour events is way down this year. And so, you know, I can sit here and complain about it all day long until the sun comes, whatever, tell some stupid saying. But I'm here to provide some easy fixes. So here's some just quick, easy fixes that would really, you know, solve the problem. Let's just get ego out of the way and just look, you have these PGA Tour events, right? You have, the elevated events. So the non-elevated events have a smaller purse. And the winner of a non-elevated event gets about 1.3 million. Whereas in an elevated event, the winner gets over 3 million. And so these PGA Tour events like the Farmers, which is at Torrey Pines, are having trouble with their sponsors and retaining their sponsors. So here's the easiest fix in the world. Have LIV sponsor some of the sub-events and make them into co-branded events. So LIV's the sponsor of Torrey Pines now. That means they can put in, they don't need to put the full field of 50 players in, but maybe they put in 30 and, you know, and then the PGA Tour has their regular field and they increase the amount right there. Or you put the full field, just combine the events together. Rev share, work together. It's pretty easy. And then the other thing is LIV has actually already offered a team spot for the PGA Tour. So the PGA Tour right now could field a team into this week's LIV event. Well, it's a little late for this week's, but maybe the next event. So, you know, let's just start working together, man. PGA, put a team into a LIV event. Who cares? just put up the 125th ranked players in the world. Put 4 of those guys in and see how they do. Why not? What do you have to lose? What are you going to legitimize them as a league? They're already legit. They have money behind them. You're already trying to work through a deal. Having said all that, hopefully this week at the Masters, we'll hear some sort of announcement of something moving forward. Give us something. Give the fans, give us something, a reason to watch besides the Masters, which we're all going to watch. I'm beyond stoked about the Masters. I love the Masters. It's my favorite event. Next Saturday, next Sunday, I'll be watching wall-to-wall coverage. That's This Week in Golf. See you next week. Hey, it's Jeremy Callahan, and thanks for listening to This Week in Golf. Make sure and hit subscribe so you can get all the latest news and analysis from Golf BPM.